Alright, ladies and dudes, it is time to wrap things up for my last and final top 10 list that I have to do for this year. And that is the top 10 best fun facts that I did put on my movie reviews. And this is going to be a piece of cake one, for sure. Well, anyway, hi ladies and dudes, this is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobov197. This is my review for today, and today I have no review, ladies and dudes. Yes, ladies and dudes, this is it, the final top 10 list that I have to do for this year. And I hope everybody will do their homework very carefully if you guys ever watched my movie reviews or not. So, here we go. My top 10 best fun facts that I did put on my movie reviews. And it's a piece of cake for sure. There's a whole ton of fun facts I did put for my movie reviews. Well, for here or there anyway. And yes, before I could do that top 10 list that nobody has never done before, I will tell you an interesting fun fact about the great and mighty Liam Neeson's new film called The Markman. Okay, for two interesting fun facts for one interesting fun fact, yes, I did see the trailer. I did see the trailer at the very same day when I finally get to see Honest Thief. And two, another interesting fun fact you should know about Liam Neeson's new film is he's going to work with the Two Company again, who is really responsible for making Honest Thief. And for the third time, the great and mighty Liam Neeson is going to work with Open Road. Like I said, they're the ones who were responsible for making his previous film in the year 2012 called The Grey. Since I do love that film, but it had a very disappointing ending for it. And now, what is the rest of the top 10 list that I did put for interesting fun facts that came from in my past movie reviews? Well, let's go ahead and do it right now. So without further ado, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my top 10 best fun facts that I did put on my movie reviews. And yes, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. I'd rather go with the two honorable mentions. That's truly the easiest one the most. The first honorable mention goes to The Great Wall. I know it's not a really good film, but at least it has an interesting fun fact to be found. Like that Andy dude. Yes, he's the guy who played Leo from the House of Flying Daggers, and this is his very first Chinese film where he could finally speak English for the very first time. And yes, for the second interesting fun fact is he did reunite with the director dude who is responsible for making the House of Flying Daggers. That's one good fun fact to be found. And the second fun fact that I will put for my honorable mentions is Shrek, the first one. We found out the truth that Chris Farley became the very first choice to play Shrek before Mike Myers. But sadly, poor Chris Farley died in the year of 1997 before the movie will be made. Sad shame indeed. So those are my honorable mentions for some other movie reviews I did put for an interesting fun fact. And now let's head on to the top 10 best. Coming at number 10 goes to the first one. An interesting fun fact to be found from my movie review is we got three familiar people who did reunite after when they worked together, but sadly they had to play in separate characters that came from in the previous film called Love Actually. We got Emma Thompson as Nanny McPhee, and Colin Firth as the widowed father, and also that young boy who played one of those, the widow's kids. So yeah, all three of them did reunite, and they worked together in this film after their previous one. And they also worked with the very same studio called Studio Canner, whatever it's called. Well, you'll know what I'm talking about. So that deserves to be at number 10. Coming at number 9 goes to Dragon Ball Super Broly. An interesting fun fact that I found with this film is Kira Toriyama, the guy who is responsible for making the Dragon Ball franchise happen. He decided to write down a 3-hour script of the whole entire movie. But sadly, he decided to cut some parts off and put it for only 100 minutes of the film. I wish I know what the other ones are. You know, some of the parts here and there that were cut off from the original script. So that's a great fun fact to be found from Dragon Ball Super Broly's animated movie. So that deserves to be at number 9. Coming at number 8 goes to The Little Mermaid. I know there's a lot of interesting fun facts to be found in that film, but I think I'd rather stay with one interesting fun fact I did found with this movie. Well, in a sense, The Little Mermaid, the animated version, is pretty pure light, while Hans Christian Andersen's storyline is pretty darn dark and heartbreaking. We found out that the Little Mermaid's tongue got cut off thanks to that sea witch. The mermaids gave the Little Mermaid a knife, so they want her to kill the prince, but sadly she can't. And also, the Little Mermaid died by killing herself and turning herself into sea foam. Yeah, that's the reason why it has to be low on the list, is because Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid is very darn dark and very darn heartbroken to know. So that's why it has to be on the number 8 spot. Coming at number 7 goes to Fatal Attractions. And yes, there's an interesting fun fact to know about this film, that Glenn Close did say that Alex is not really a villain at all. She's just a misunderstood character. She's, having a whole lot of problems in her life. She needs help, and she's just a person who's very, very lost about something. Hard for me to say about that one, but that's a great, interesting, fun fact to be found from one of the best Glenn Close films of all time. So that deserves to be at number 7. Coming at number 6 has to go on a tie between The Wildest Dreams, Conquest of Everest, and also Clash of the Titans. The reason why I have to put both of them on the list is because these two films have one thing in common, and that is the great and mighty Liam Neeson and Ralph Fiennes. They worked together in these two films. And also, they worked together on The Schindler's List and Wrath of the Titans. And also, they have another thing in common. They're very good friends of Natasha Richardson and Alan Scary Rickman. And the heartbreaking part about The Wildest Dreams, Conquest of Everest, this will be the final time that the great and mighty Liam Neeson is working with the two most important people that he ever cared about in his life. And that is his beloved wife, Natasha Richardson, and Alan Scary Rickman. It's a sad shame indeed. Rest in peace, our dear beloved Natasha Richardson and Alan Scary Rickman. We love you both, and we will miss you. Move on. Coming at number 5 goes to Batman Begins. What the heck I should say about Batman Begins? there's a lot of fun facts to be found. Even the part where, there's some actors, actresses here and there who reunite with the director and work on later on films for the Christopher Nolan franchise. And yes, we found out that Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman did reunite again in a non-Batman movie, and that is Now You See Me, full of magic and illusions. So yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to say about that part. So yeah, Batman Begins deserves to be at number 5. Coming at number 4 goes to Jurassic Park. The most easiest fun fact to be found in this film, we found out that the legendary Steven Spielberg and the legendary composer John Williams, they worked together so many times in a whole ton of films here and there. Like the E.T. film and the Indiana Jones films, and also The Adventures of Tintin, The Schindler's List, and a whole lot more. We got 2 great team-ups from 2 legendary people of all time who was responsible of making great films happening. So yep, that deserves to be at number 4. And finally, the final top 3 best movies out there that I put a whole ton of fun facts for. So let's get this started. Coming at number 3 goes to Cold Pursuit. And there's a whole ton of fun facts to be found from an underrated Liam Neeson film. But I think I'd rather go with the ones that's kind of the easiest the most, since there's a lot of them to be found. Like so many things that this film and The Commuter have 2 things in common. We got 2 actors and actresses who did work together in Jurassic Park and the 2004 version of The Phantom of the Opera. And the one who did Christine Daae and the other who did Ralph, they both played cops. One who's good and the other who was bad. And I gotta let you guys figure that part out for yourself. And yes, an interesting fun fact about Cold Pursuit is this is the old gray my Liam Neeson's son, Michael Richardson, his very first performance in his father's film. So don't forget about that fun fact to be found. So that deserves to be at number 3. Coming at number 2 goes to The Dark Knight. An interesting fun fact to be found about this film is, sadly, this is the last and final film that came from Heath Ledger. And the saddest part is he never got a chance to go to the Oscars and get his Oscar knobs because his family took care of it on their behalf, or his behalf, whatever. And the strangest fun fact you should know about The Dark Knight, when I did my movie review of it, I did it on Heath Ledger's birthday, on April the 4th. And thanks to my best friend Henry told me about it, that I did that movie review on Heath Ledger's birthday, and I still have that comment to prove it. For sure. So yeah, The Dark Knight deserves to be at number 2. And finally, the number 1 best movie of all time, with so many fun facts to be found. And I attribute that to our dear beloved actor who played Black Panther. And yes, Wakanda Forever. I did this for him, since he's no longer here with us. So for number 1 goes to the Black Panther, and I will admit that the Black Panther deserves to be the king of all Marvel's films, with so many fun facts to be found. Like, we got 2 familiar people who are both Oscar winners, and they're also responsible of working with the old great and mighty Liam Neeson in 2 different Liam Neeson films. And we got a director and an actor who did reunite again, and they worked together for the 3rd time. And that's the fun facts I'll tell you about for Black Panther, and it deserves to be the #1 best fun fact thing that I did put in my movie reviews. So those are my top 10 best movie reviews I did put for interesting fun facts to be found. And tell me, ladies and dudes, what type of fun facts did you find from your own movie reviews, or some of them that you did not put in there? Well, whichever it is, leave a comment there, let me know, and join me next time for my final top 5 list I gotta do for this year. I will do my top 5 best moments that I ever loved from the final moments of G Gundam. That'll be an interesting list to do. So be prepared for that one to come, and I'll see you all later, and sayonara.